So what we'll do is we'll give this a try and appreciate everybody once again taking the time. So can everybody confirm with me that you can actually see my screen at the moment?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so let's start our conversation on KickX. And with Kick, I know Peter is well versed with the program, but it's Kick is a program designed to help entrepreneurs at a very early stage, and in many respects at the earliest possible stage, which is the idea stage. It's important to note that in the Kick program, it does facilitate people who are also at what I will call a pivot stage. So people who are thinking about what it is that they want to do with an idea that they've already launched. Maybe they're stuck, either from a growth perspective or from a capital perspective. Maybe they're not getting the marketplace feedback that they were expecting. And so it's an opportunity for people to come in and put the right tools, the right questions in place to help them to get clarity. And so here in Vancouver, we actually use the tagline from idea to clarity in 6 weeks, really helping an entrepreneur to find that clarity. It's important to note that the program is inclusive. So it has the ability to take nonprofits through to for-profits. It has the ability to take no tech through to patents pending high tech. So to give you guys a working example, in our current Kick cohort in person here in Vancouver, we have 22 people in the cohort. We have a couple of nonprofits, a couple of service-based organizations, a couple of bricks and mortar product companies, and we have a couple. We have a big data play. We have a aerial drone company. So we actually do have a very broad mix, and we think that inclusiveness is actually one of the things that makes Kick so powerful. Is you get a diverse set of skills and experience, and so working through the sessions, it tends to enrich the process for everybody. Excuse me. So Kick is launched by Fledge. Fledge is a purpose-based accelerator in Seattle. Recently was ranked as one of the top B Corps actually in the world. And in the last call for their cohort, they had about 180 applications from around the world. It's a well-established organization, more than 4 years, 6 cohorts, and Michael Looney Lives, who founded it. One of the reasons we looked at his program initially was because it was very strong from a knowledge-based perspective and also from a learning perspective. And Looney's background as an instructor at Pinchot University really helped us to have, I think, an initial level of faith and confidence in what he had built with Kick. And so we describe Kick as being the only global curriculum-based incubator program. It's now running in 23 cities around the world. We run it here in Vancouver as well as in Whitehorse, Yukon, and we do run that remotely as well. And so that gives us as well, I think, some really interesting opportunities for the entrepreneurs. It's a global best practice program. And in addition to that, it provides a lot of additional perks that might otherwise not be available to entrepreneurs. So it is designed to be a 6-week curriculum-based program. The way that we run it, there's over 40 hours of in class, which in the context of KickX would be virtual, but still would be something that we would go through. There's probably about 3 to 10 hours a week of homework for the entrepreneurs. There is a dedicated book called The Next Step. There's over 25 videos and a worksheet-based approach to get the answers to all the questions that people have. So the important takeaway from this is that it's a very well-structured program. It gives people a very reasonable, well-thought-out flow for how they're going to go about the process of getting clarity into their idea over this period of time. 6 weeks also means that it's very much, I won't call it drink through the fire hose, but it's a fairly intensive program. And it's really designed for those people who don't want to go through life wondering what if on their idea. and they want to make sure that they have an ability to get clarity quickly. And so it's not a meandering program. It's also not a self-serve program. There are other self-serve programs out there, like Kaufman's Founder School, or New Venture BC has the Market Validation Training Program, which is just a la carte videos at your own time, at your own leisure, which serves a certain marketplace, and that's great. In our case, we're serving people who are like, no, I want to find out if I got an idea that's got legs or not. And so thus the structure for the program. And I am just waiting for this thing to respond to me. So let me try that again. So access to 15 plus mentors. So it's important to note that through the Kick virtual program, not only will myself and Ilya be facilitating the sessions, but we do bring a number of mentors to the table. Now, the reason it says 15 plus is because over the 6 weeks, the entrepreneurs will gain access to 15 mentors, but we will also be showing some videos of other recorded conversations or sessions that we've had with additional mentors. So for example, we had a serial entrepreneur give a session on goal setting day one with the latest Kick cohort. That would be an example of something that we have videoed and recorded so that we can actually share that as well. So it's a very expansive, hands-on method for people to get plugged into mentors. And the benefit, of course, is for the 15 plus that are actually engaging in the topic with the group. There's an opportunity for the entrepreneurs in those sessions to connect with those entrepreneurs, those mentors, those advisors, to have follow-up conversations and to plug into them. And so I think that that's such a critical part about Kick is that ability to access a decent sized cohort of mentors and advisors to plug into what you're trying to do as an entrepreneur. Just quickly to touch on some of the partners that we have, some people that are relevant to more the Lower Mainland, so people like Van City, people who are relevant across Canada, so people like NRC and Futurepreneur, as well as some technology and platform partners, so people like Indiegogo and Unbounce. So really what we're trying to do is bring some great knowledge and expertise and tools to the table. And in addition to that, there are thousands of dollars in free perks that are available to Kick entrepreneurs. And the listing that we have put on this particular slide is just a small sampling of people. So, if you're running an e-com business, so very light technology business, maybe you use Stripe, any type of an organization could leverage something like Eventbrite or an Unbounce or Bench as an accounting system. And so we have a good mix such that really anybody who takes Kick should be able to pull off the shelf a number of free perks that are relevant to them and plug them into their model. So I think it's important to note that that is a possibility. So one of the reasons why we wanted to have this particular call was to talk about how we can engage the marketplace at large for KickX. And in particular, there are a number of reasons why. So first of all, we think Kick as a program, and KickX being an extension of that, is a great way to create deal flow for local organizations or regional organizations for that matter. So quite often, entrepreneurs at the idea stage are coming too early to accelerators, to funding organizations, angel groups, co-working spaces, etc. And so Kick is a great way for people to filter through and to find the entrepreneurs who have great potential and then plug them in when they're actually ready, when the time is right. And so I think for us that's an important, one important distinction. Certainly when it comes to investors, it gives an opportunity to filter out some deal flow, to find some good people and some good ideas and see them early on in the process. KickX specifically is designed to support entrepreneurs in smaller communities that don't have access to things like co-working spaces and incubators, but that could therefore be a conduit to then plug them in later. So maybe we find people in smaller cities, Gibson's, for example, And so there is no co-working space, there is no incubator and accelerator. But if a person is able to advance an idea and have it go to launch and then start to build an organization, there's an opportunity for them to plug into a whole group of people, whether they're in Nanaimo, Victoria, Vancouver, ultimately places like Silicon Valley and New York and so forth, if they have a global scale business. Otherwise, they can build a great local business or a great regional business. Um, Another important part, and so I use Peter actually as an example of this, the opportunities to guest speak or to be local facilitators. So, Peter and I have known each other for a little while now, and so for Peter to come in and talk to a virtual kick cohort about capital raising and about pitching and about engaging angel investors and angel groups and sources of capital would be incredibly beneficial to the entrepreneurs. But it's also a way for Peter to get exposed to a cohort at an early enough stage that he can start to see those nuggets that could be of interest to himself as an entrepreneur, as well as through the work that Peter does through things like the Capital Investment Network. So these are some of the ways that we see an opportunity to engage. So right now, our plan is to run a cohort starting on June 16th. We have not excluded anyone per se, but our goal right now is pretty much to focus on people in the Pacific time zone, and in particular, sort of BC Yukon. Though we can, in theory, take anybody sort of from Alberta West without breaking a sweat. And so we are looking at some scholarship options. There are some grant options and a few other potential sources of capital to offset in part or in whole program fees. So that is another opportunity that does exist. So this is the quick overview that we wanted to use as a starting point to launch into a conversation about KickX. So what I'd love to do now is invite this conversation to start. So there is that hands up feature that we have. So just to maybe avoid us stepping over each other, what we can do is we can use that hands up feature to see what questions you guys have, comments, and let's go from there.